Hello everybody, today I'm going to do a review on this. This is the Hobbymate D6 DUO PRO AC/DC dual charger. Now, I've been holding back on doing a review on this because I really wanted to use this for a while and make sure it's going to work out. I mean, I don't want to recommend something that I haven't actually used. So, let's go ahead and get into this. Now, first of all, it comes in a box. Of course, you can't really see the box, but it comes in a box not much bigger than this is. And it comes with nothing else but the charger and the AC cable and a spec sheet. Now, the spec sheet, I will hold it up here to the screen and you can just pause the video if you want to look at it. So I can get this stupid thing unfolded. If it will unfold. There we go. Okay, so here's the first part of the spec sheet. And here's the second part of the spec sheet. I'm hoping that's focused. I'm going to show the first part again. Alright, so the other side's all in Chinese. So that's all they give you there. Now, any adapter plugs or balance leads or anything you need to use, you know, you're going to have to make them or buy them, one of the two, because it does not come with anything. Like I've had to make adapters for, you know, my nickel metal hydride batteries. I've had to make one for my transmitter battery here. It's got the little 2S lead like on there. And I've had to make the XT60 to T connectors. I mean, I've done all these different batteries, like even for Tamiya plugs. Let's see, where's an XT60 to Tamiya? There's an XT60 to Tamiya plug that I've had to do. I've had to do small and large Tamiya plugs. Here's an XT60 to XT30 that I've had to do as well for some batteries. So any plugs you need, any adapters you're going to need, you're going to have to make them or buy them. I got, of course, balance leads all over the place because my little 4S batteries, these leads are really short and it's really hard to plug these in, so I always put an XT60 extension and a balance lead extension on here just to be able to plug those in. But I typically charge them inside of an ammo can. I never did a video on this ammo can box that I've done. Basically all I've done is I took an ammo can, near the top on the side I put 2 holes, one on each side, and a grommet in there big enough to fit the balance leads, like 4S leads and stuff, in the XT60s through there, so I can charge the batteries in a fireproof case on top of a brick or something, or even outside or whatever. That way I don't have to worry about flames shooting everywhere if something goes wrong. But yeah, that's what I use anyway. So let's get back to this. Just got off subject there for a second. Sorry about that. But okay. Hobbymate D6 DUO PRO. It's got the channel select button. It's got a jog wheel over here, and you press in to select it. You just scroll to figure out what you want, and then you press in to select it. You have your balance ports here, and your XT60 ports on the front. You got channel 1 and channel 2, XT60 and a balance port. All your negatives are to the right side of the plug. Right here, right here, right here, and right here. So that's easy to remember. All your negatives are always to the right on this charger. Over here you have, oh, by the way, this does up to a 6S battery. So you got also a USB in for, say, flashing the firmware if you need to. You got a 5-volt out, 2.1 amp, and that's for like charging cell phones or, you know, power banks. I've charged my large power bank, my little power bank. I've charged a cell phone off of it. I've charged other camera batteries, like for little cameras with the, you know, these have a USB plug that goes on them, and I've plugged that in and charged batteries off of it. I've done pretty much everything on here. Okay, on the back you have your AC in, you got a fan for cooling, and you have a DC in, and this you could plug in anything from a 2S to a 6S LiPo, or even a car battery. And I don't recommend anything less than a 4S, but you'd have to have a very high capacity LiPo, say like a 16,000 milliamp LiPo, to be charging your batteries all day. And so anyway, you'd have to, of course, be able to plug that in. make your adapters if you need to. But like I said, I'm using a car battery. I got a separate car battery. I got it in a battery box. I've rigged it up. I haven't done a video on that either. But I've also got, you know, a way to plug in my inverters, power inverters for charging my laptop off of that and everything as well. So anyway, let me get off of that. Okay, on top here you have wireless charging for cell phones. I don't personally have a cell phone that does wireless charging, but a friend of mine did, and we tried it out and it worked just fine. You have to have the setting inside turned on, because you can actually turn that off as well. Alright, so let's go ahead and plug this in. I don't know why I keep getting off subject here tonight. My brain is going in 90 different directions here. Alright, so you turn it on, it does a self-check. And let's see if I can get some of that glare off of this. There we go. That might help a little bit. Alright, so when you start it up, you got a split screen here. You got channel 1 and channel 2. And you can use your channel button to select channel 1. And then now you got channel 2 right there. And down at the bottom, it's showing you voltages and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So let's go back to the split screen. Hold down the jog wheel for a second, and it goes into system settings. So now you have your task parameters, and you got a safety timer, you got max capacity, and in current trickle charge. Now, when you get this out of the box, all these settings, all through this, are going to be completely maxed out. And I did not reset this because we would be sitting here scrolling and scrolling and scrolling to turn these down to where you know, in a reasonable level anyway. I don't even remember how high this safety timer goes, but I got mine set for 480 minutes. That's because I'm doing the nickel metal hydrides as well, and I do a slow charge on those, so I, you know, don't want it to shut off too soon. So you can go in here and you can scroll, select whatever you want. Max capacity. My max capacity batteries that I have right now are 2200 milliamp. 2.2 amps, so I got it set for 3000. I don't know why, I just set it for 3000, but it's closer to what I've got here. I don't want it charging like to the point of 10,000 milliamps or something like that. Whatever the highest one on here is ridiculously high. You got your in current, and you got trickle charge on or off. I'm leaving it on because I am doing the nickel metal hydrides and such. So let's go back, go down to system parameters. Got language, got a few different languages there. Max input power. And you got minimum input voltage. You can select that as well. LCD backlight. I have it on high because I do use this out in the field as well. And wireless charge on or off. Volume on high, that's to make sure I can hear the thing when it beeps. And completion signal repeat. So it beeps when it's done charging a battery, and if you have it on repeat, that'll, you know, if you didn't hear it the first time, you'll hear it, you know, eventually. So I just leave it on repeat just in case I don't hear it the first time. And then you can name the device, and you can go back. Now we can go down here. We have channel 1 and channel 2 calibration, and it's already done from the factory, so I don't see any reason to really do it unless something really gets messed up. System self-check, it does that when you boot up. You can also do it right there anyway. Reset the factory settings, which I do not want to do because we'll be scrolling for a long time. System info, it gives you your firmware version, serial number and such. And that's pretty much it there. Oops. I want to go back into system settings. Okay, we already got all that. Yep, system info, back. Okay, we got everything in there. Now we're looking at the split screen again. So let's go ahead and plug in a battery. And I'm going to plug in this 2S battery here. This is one of the Glacier 2200s. I use this for one of my goggles. And that pair of goggles I actually use kind of like a secondary to record on or whatever. Okay, so we got that plugged in. And right now I'm hoping you guys can see this screen. You will see the voltages right here. It's only a 2S, but on this screen here, when you're in the split screen, even if you're running, say, a 6S on here to charge or whatever, it's only going to show you 2 voltages. And these 2 voltages are your lowest cell voltage and your highest cell voltage. So your lowest cell and your highest cell will show on the split screen on each channel. Now you select the channel, and now you will see all your voltages across here for each cell. And this is only a 2S, so we only have 2 voltages. You also have your input current. You have how many milliamps have been put into it, how long it's been going, and the voltage, overall voltage. Also right here, you're not going to see it until we actually start charging. Okay, right here you can see your AC voltage and your temperature and milliwatt hours and how many pieces I've charged. Well, this is only how many charges I've done on LiPos. I can tell you I have done at least that many charges on batteries, because I've also done my transmitter batteries numerous times. I've done other batteries here that I have numerous times, nickel metal hydrides. I've done power banks, I've done cell phones, I've done, you name it, I've done it pretty much. And I've even done these little batteries here, these little 2S batteries, quite a few times. And in my logbook, this logbook here that I have, I can't get it in the screen, but it's a logbook. I keep track of all my flights, battery usage and stuff like that. And I've got well over 700 charges just on my 12 4S batteries that I use for my 3-inch quads. And this does not include my goggles batteries or my transmitter batteries or any other batteries that I've charged. So this thing has been put through its paces pretty well. I haven't charged any higher than 4.4 amps. That's going 2C on these. I haven't charged any higher than 2C on these, so 4.4 amps. I don't have any batteries that would be suitable to charge any faster. So, okay, let's go ahead and get into this. And I'm not going to charge this battery. It's already sitting at roughly storage voltage. So I'm not going to put this at 1C like I typically charge it. I'm just going to put the current really low just to demonstrate the screens here and show you what's going on with it. So we're going to start this on channel 1. We're going to go to charge, and here you can charge, discharge, external discharge, storage, or balance. External discharge is, say you have a big LiPo powering this, one of those 16,000 milliamp 6S LiPos back here. You can actually take your charged LiPos and dump that power back into that LiPo. That way you're not just wasting the energy out of these batteries. You can recharge that other LiPo. It doesn't work to do that on, say, a car battery or something. But I've used everything except for the external discharge across my batteries. Of course, I didn't use discharge on my LiPos. I've used discharge on my nickel metal hydrides and a couple other things, but I haven't done anything else but storage, balance, and charge on my LiPos. So we're going to do charge to start out with. Battery types. This thing does quite a few different types of batteries here. We got smart battery, LiHV, LiPo, lithium ion, LiFe, LiXX, NIZNs, PBs, NiCads, nickel metal hydrides, and in-loop batteries. So right now we got a LiPo. We're going to select that. We're going to put it at 4.2 to say a charge. Cell count 2S. You can select that as well if it doesn't read it right away. And if it doesn't read it, you either got a bad cell or you got a bad balance lead or something. If it doesn't read your cell count. Current setting, I'm going to put this all the way down to 0.1 because, like I said, I don't want to charge this battery up or anything right now. I'm just demonstrating the screens. And we're going to start the task. So here you see it's going up. This will go up to whatever you got it set at if it's really low. It'll drop as it gets closer to the voltage you set it at. So right now we have, okay, we got each cell going 3.8, 3.832, 3.832. And we got how many milliamps are getting put in or taken out, whatever, depending on what you're doing. And the total voltage and the time. And the percent of the charge is up in this corner here. And that's channel 1. So right here, if you wait a second, you can see the internal resistance of your batteries. Now this is not a 100% accurate internal resistance. If you want accurate internal resistance, you're looking at some very expensive equipment. But anyway, you got a rough estimate of your internal resistance per cell. And they're a little off here. But the more charge it gets, the closer these will get if the cells are good. If you got a really big difference between your cells, it's about time to pitch them. And I got one older battery that is probably about 10 milliohms off, and it's kind of getting there. So I don't know when I'm going to pitch it, but it'll be pretty soon probably. But anyway, you can check that now, and you can also check it or leave it on there while you're charging. You can check it just before you pull it off the charge as well. And you get an idea of what your internal resistance are. You don't want them too high. You lower the better, the closer match the better. Okay, so let's go ahead and move over here, and we just have like the input voltage from the AC. We got the temperature, milliwatt hours, and how many pieces roughly you've charged. Okay, so let's go ahead and get out of this. Oh, by the way, I don't want to stop that, stupid. Let's go ahead and continue this task. You see the screen is yellow right now. When this is done charging, it will beep and turn green. The screen will turn green on that channel. Even if it's in the split screen, if it's in the split screen, that side will turn green. Whichever side is done, it'll turn green if you're doing two batteries at once. But it'll turn green when it's done. But if you wait, when you're charging, if you wait a little bit, the screen will turn blue and it'll do a double beep. And that means it's a little closer to balanced. Now, what I've seen as well using this charger, even after it turns blue, wait about 2 or 3 minutes afterwards and watch your voltages. They will get more closely matched. And I wouldn't leave it on much more than a few minutes, but you don't really have to. But it's just getting them closer balanced. And you'll see this fluctuating as well. So that's just one little note you want to do. I'm not going to sit here and charge the battery. I'm just going to tell you this turns green when it's done, and it turns blue when it's balanced. A little closer to balance. Wait a few minutes, and it'll get even closer to balance. And that's typically what I do. So let's go ahead and stop this charging task. We're going to go up, let's see, let's go up to charge, and we'll go to discharge. And we'll discharge 3.8 just to have a setting there. Start task, now it's kind of pink. Okay, and it'll get down, it'll of course turn green when it's done. And it'll beep. So let's go ahead and stop that task. And I'm doing this just to show you the difference in colors here. I'm not going to do external discharge. I don't have a battery on that to do that. Let's go to storage. And I'm going to put this down again. Start task. Now it's purple. For storage mode, it is in purple, and it will turn green when it's done. So let's go ahead and by the way, you can't see internal resistance on anything other than charge mode. I don't know why, but that's the way it is. Okay, let's stop that. And now we're going to go to balance and start task. This will probably go by pretty quick because this is balanced. It's going to be like an olive green at first, and it'll turn dark green, a darker green when it's done. See, olive green, and it turned right to the darker green because it is balanced. But it says 382 up here. This is saying 3832, 3830. I'd want to leave this on a little longer just to make sure it stays balanced. Don't stop the task for a while. And but that's close enough right now. I mean, I'm not too worried about that. 0.002 difference. You ain't going to get much closer. I mean, you can get like that, but that's exact. But it's at 383, and I wanted it at 382, so that would be one of those have to wait. Okay, so let's, oops, wrong button. Let's go ahead and stop that task. Okay, so that's pretty much all the settings there. And I did run through all the different batteries here. Okay. You can cancel by using their channel button, by the way, too. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start this on a charge. Or no, I'm going to actually put this on a balance. I'm going to balance it at 382. Of course, it's probably going to beep right away. Yeah, because it pulled it just low enough to make it beep. But let's go ahead and acknowledge that beep to make it stop beeping. But that channel's still going. Now, to demonstrate the one other thing here, you can charge 2 different types of batteries at the same time as well. Not just 2 batteries at once. You can charge 2 different types, 2 different cell counts, 2 different whatever. So I'm going to plug this nickel metal hydride in, and I made an adapter for that, because this thing doesn't come with any adapters at all. No other wires or anything. So plug that in, and we're going to plug this in right here. And for nickel metal hydrides, there's no balance lead. You just plug it right in. Okay. So now I'm going to select channel 2, put this on charge, and then I got to select the battery type. I'm hoping you guys can see this. Cancel that out. Charge, battery type. Got to make sure you get the right type of battery. It's going to be a bad day for you. Okay, don't have to mess with none of this. Cell count automatic, current setting, start task, and it's yellow. It'll turn green when it's done and beep. So there you go. You got a split screen now, and you can see the 2 different batteries are going at the same time. So this is quite a handy little thing. I mean, I can still charge my cell phone or something off the side here. I can do the wireless charging at the same time. You know, I can do all that stuff all at one time. You can do it through AC or DC input. And I use a car battery, and I do use a separate car battery. I have it in a battery box, and I've done some modifications to that. I haven't made a video on that. But I don't want to use the car battery in my car, because if it runs down too low, I won't be able to go anywhere. But I do use a separate battery, and I have like an 800 or 850 cold cranking amp standard car battery. I did want to get a deep cycle, but they were just so heavy and so expensive. I just went with the regular car battery, and that thing lasts me all day. I mean, I could charge, oh, I don't know, I've charged as many as 35, 40 batteries in a day off that car battery, and just brought it home, stuck it on the car charger in the house here, and just charged it up overnight again. So it works out pretty well. But yeah, this thing, really nice charger. I really like it. Let's go ahead and stop this task. See how the voltage is dropping there. 3829, 3830. It'll gradually drop down lower and lower until it gets down to where you want it, but you got to leave it on there a while. So let's go ahead and stop this task. Press the jog wheel to go to standby. Unplug this. Get this balance lead off of here, and I can unplug that there. And I'm going to show you something here that happens if you do something wrong, like plug something in wrong. Say you put your balance lead on channel 1, but you put your plug on channel 2, your charge plug on channel 2, it'll yell at you about an abnormal connection. And I'm going to do a demonstration here. I'm going to actually pull this without putting it in standby. Pull that battery, and you wait a second, and there it goes. It just yelled at me, abnormal battery connection. So it'll tell you when something's wrong. Now you can acknowledge that and beat out of it and be done. So it's not going to hurt anything if it does it. It's just going to yell at you. And if it does yell at you, like you put your balance lead in and you don't see the number of cells that battery is supposed to be, like this is a 2S battery. If I plug this in and it only shows 1, then I probably have something wrong with this balance lead. That's the only explanation. There's something wrong with the connection with the balance lead if it only shows 1 cell out of the 2, or you got a bad battery with a bad cell. I would just take it to a battery checker, or check your connection here in the balance lead, see if you got a bad connection somewhere, you know, on a battery checker or whatever, or a meter, just to see what's going on with it. But you don't want to try and charge a battery that has a bad cell in it. That'll make for a bad day. So anyway, don't know what else to say about this thing. I mean, I've been putting it through its paces. I mean, you think I got 700 plus charges, and that's registered on here, 700 plus charges, like 780 something. I've got, on top of that, and that's just out of my logbook, 780 some charges. That's all I log. I don't log balancing or anything. I don't log balancing or just putting them in storage. Every day when I go out to fly, when I come home, I put all my batteries into storage, and I have 12 of these little 4S batteries for my 3-inch quads. I've got 4 goggles batteries. Sometimes I use only 2 of them. I got my transmitter batteries, which I charge off of this at the same, the same night. And I've charged power banks off of it, cell phones off of it. So I have really used this charger quite a bit in the field and here at home, and it's still going strong. I mean, I really like this charger. I don't know if I could find anything around that price range much better. So anyway, let's go ahead and unplug this, and thanks for watching, guys. Don't know what else to say. Nice little charger, and it's not too heavy. It probably weighs, I don't know, I don't have my scale out here, but I'd say it's probably about half a pound. I don't know, somewhere around there. It's not a super light charger, but it's pretty compact. It's 4 inches. What is this? 4 inches and a little over 4 inches. And this way it is just a hair over 4 inches. This height-wise, it is just a hair over 3. So like 3 inches. Yeah, so it's like 4 by 4 by 3. And so it's not too bad. It's got a sloped front. The only quirk I have about this, let me plug this back. I don't know if I mentioned this in the beginning of the video here, but I'm going to mention it again. Plug this back in. Okay, the screen is not a touch screen, and it is pretty delicate. I mean, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of doing that weird color changing thing when you touch it. The only quirk I have is I wish they would have put something a little more solid on top of here to protect this screen. I'm thinking about getting something on here myself. I'm going to have to make like something out of Lexan, or really, like I say, an 1/8 inch or thinner, or 1/16 Lexan, and probably cut it out to where you can still hit the buttons and use the jog wheel, but just something more solid on top here to protect this screen. That's why I still save my box. I taped up the box to reinforce it to make it last, and that's what I store it in. I store it in this, and then I store it inside of an ammo can with all my other balance leads and everything else. So yeah, that is the only quirk I have. That's the only quirk I have with this, is the screen is just really delicate, and it is not a touch screen. So guys, if you get one of these, don't try to touch the screen. It could damage it. I've actually heard of one person that said they didn't know it was a touch screen, and they actually damaged the screen by pressing on it, trying to get it to do something. So yeah, guys, I know I'm not the greatest at making videos. I appreciate you bearing with me here and watching this, and don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, like, dislike, comment if you want, and we will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.